eternal presence. I am the Word made flesh. I am the silence behind the sound. I am the stillness beneath all movement.
I am love, you are love, we are one, only love is real. I see you, I hear you, I know you, I love because I am.
I create with love, I dwell in the end. I live from the wish fulfilled. I choose my state, I speak only what I desire to live.
I imagine, and it is so. I declare, and it becomes. I walk in victory.
I surrender to love, I trust the unfolding. I release the past, I forgive everything. I embrace the now, I breathe and allow. I accept all of me, I rest in what is. I remember who I am, I never left the garden. I am what I choose to embody. I was never broken, I am the dream fulfilled. I'm the healed and the healer. I am the spark of creation. I am not the story, I am the author. I am the name unspoken. I am the voice before the voice. I am the image and likeness of God. I am truth, remembering itself. I am not separate, I am one with all things. I am the breath and the fire. I am the return. I am enough. I am held. I am whole. I am safe. I am powerful. I am free. I am light. I am love. I am the operant power. I am the Word made flesh. I am awake now. I am whole.
good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in under this great big dome, the Astrodome. That's right. You are under the Astrodome on this flat plane that we call a baseball field. Earth? No. You were misinformed. It is absolutely a sports field. Let's see here. I did a few things yesterday. Spent a tremendous amount of hours doing all sorts of things, trying to get many different things worked out. And I've been working on... Whoa, I don't see my chat on the screen. 1 second. Let me try to figure out why the live chat is not working. Should be working. Oh, I see. I don't know how that happened, but the chat was disabled. There we go. It seems like every day there's some kind of issue. Just so you know, I'm sure all of you know what a pop-out is, a pop-out screen. Whenever you look at the live chat on YouTube next to a video, there's a 3-button pop-down list. You click on that, and then one of the options is pop-out chat. And basically, it opens the entire live chat in one separate window. Now, the good thing about that is that you can make the whole screen on your TV or your computer or your phone just the chat. So that's kind of cool. But I can also copy the URL, the link, the actual link to the chat, and then I put it into my software, and then that's what enables me to open it on the screen and show it on my video. But the downside is that the link changes for every single live stream. So I have to manually go in, copy the link, and repaste it every single game. Sometimes I forget to do that, and that's why it doesn't show up on the screen. And occasionally, I have it disabled. Once again, that's not something that I do. But when Windows updates, for whatever reason, it decides to start going kind of haywire. It changes some of my settings in the software. And that happens to be one of the settings that it changed. It made my live chat invisible, where people couldn't see it. Don't ask me why. It just happens. It's just the way it is. Just the way it is. Hey, Jeremy. Eric says, hey, all Mariners fans here. I was actually shocked about that last series. Yeah, I'm surprised, not surprised about that series. Just like the Rangers series, the Astros swept the Rangers. Of course, I was very happy about that, but surprised and not surprised. Equal parts surprised and not surprised. And then the Astros got swept by the Mariners despite having an awesome outing for their relievers. I hope you saw my short video that I posted just recently. I talked about the one thing that nobody's talking about. You know, all of the Astros podcasts, I'm not going to name them by name. You can just say that all of them. I mean, some of them that you know, I will mention a couple names, not because I'm calling them out directly, but just to give you some examples, like Apollo Houston, Stone Cold Stros and on the Sports Map Houston page, the Locked On podcast or postcast with Locked On Astros, also the Locked On Astros podcast, even Crush City Territory with Chandler Rome, all of the above, plus more. I listened to all of those after the Astros dropped their series against the Mariners, and they made two big mistakes. Now, some of them made both mistakes, and some of them only made one of these mistakes, but all of them made at least one of these mistakes. First of all, none of them, okay, not a single one, gave any kind of props to the Astros relief pitchers for the Mariners series. Now, the funny thing is, if you go back and look at the way that the Astros performed, if you go back and look at the way the Astros performed in not just the Mariners series, but also the Rangers series, so that series of 6 games at home, what you'll see is that overall, the relievers did a fantastic job, okay? At the very least, very good. If you were to rate them as a teacher, they would have gotten a B+ overall. The only reason they wouldn't have gotten an A or higher, like an A+, is because of the one blow-up game where the Rangers came back, scored a lot of runs, and almost pushed us into extra innings. We barely got out of it, but we still won because we actually scored runs that game. Nevertheless, if you take out that one game, just that one game, they were solid in all of the other games. Now, here's the interesting thing. In the Mariners series, their ERA, the relievers' ERA, was less than 1.2. And they pitched a lot of innings, especially in that game where Jason Alexander, in that last game, Alexander got blown up in the second inning. The Astros went on to finish the game without giving up any runs. They didn't give up but one hit and just one walk. They struck out 6. Where is the kudos for that? I think that's phenomenal. That's great. If we had a starting pitcher go more than 7 innings, giving up 1 run, 1 walk, 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs, and 6 strikeouts, don't you think that everybody would be talking about that? And yet nobody's talking about it. 3 of those innings were done by AJ Blueball. But the first thing that all of the Astros podcasters and journalists completely failed to do is give the Astros relievers credit for a job well done overall in those 2 series, especially the one with the Mariners. And it's kind of interesting how great the relievers were against the Mariners, and we didn't win a single game. The only blow-up game they had was against the Rangers, and we still won the game. Baseball's crazy. But the second mistake that they made was some of them, not all of them. Okay, now first of all of them failed, or rather, none of them mentioned how well the relievers did. Okay, so they all failed that. But it's something that I thought was obvious, and that's why I mentioned it. So as far as I know, I'm the only guy who actually came out and said, well done, Astros relievers, over the past 6 games. Now, the other thing that I wanted to point out is that some of these podcasters and reporters went so far as to actually bash the Astros bullpen. They didn't bash them necessarily directly, but they said that no aspect of the Astros was good in this series. So the hitting, the pitching, the bullpen, everything was terrible against the Mariners. 2 letters, B to the S. To say that no aspect of the Astros game was good against the Mariners is to overlook the Astros fielding defense and is to overlook the Astros relievers, because the Astros relievers were elite. And that's not just a word. It's not just an adjective that I'm tossing out there lightly. I mean, how many, as good as the Mariners are playing right now, having won about 1,000 games in a row, the Astros reliever still managed a sub 1.2 ERA against them. Now, explain to me how some of these guys are saying that no aspect of the Astros game was good during the Mariners series. BS. Open your eyes. They're so blinded by the negativity and the Astros' failings at the plate and in some of the starting pitching, especially at the plate in their batting, that they're not seeing every aspect of the Astros play in a biased, fair way. In other words, they're missing the forest for the trees, right? All they can see is trees, but there's an actual forest there. You know what I'm saying? Good day to you, Fox at Bat. It's good to see you here. Everyone else, welcome in. We've got an interesting game lined up today. Altuve leading it off again. We'll get to that lineup in just a moment. We are at Sutter. I want to say Sutter Home. Sutter Home is that cheap wine, right? Sutter Health Park to play the homeless A's. The homeless Athletics. What the heck is an athletic anyway? Is it like a throwback to the Olympians? I don't know. Fry took a fastball to the face? Really? That doesn't sound good. Let's take a quick look at the Astros lineup for today. They'll be up to bat here in just a few moments. Christian Javier, of course, will be on the mound for the Astros today. Javi has been trying to find his solid ground. He's had kind of a mix of results. Some of it really good, and some of it, we'll see how he does today. But pretty much everybody's in agreement that the Astros, in order to have any type of chance to get to the playoffs, they're going to need to win at least 4 games. That means winning 2 of these 3 and then 2 of the next 3, minimal, to have a chance to be in the playoffs. For those of you out there who are saying that the Astros don't deserve to be in the playoffs, get out of here. Just don't say that in the chat and just get out of here. Why is that? Well, it's simple. First of all, we have to establish what does it mean to deserve something or not deserve something. You know, the team that was battered and beat up all year long and tried their best despite all of the problems, the diversity, and there's so many nonsensical things that happened to the Astros this year, but the number one, of course, is the massive amount of injuries and repeated injuries, because we had guys go out and come back and go out again and come back again and go out again. Seriously, we had guys that were gone for a long time come back and then go out again. We've had pitchers come back and then go out again. We've had those guys come and go like watching a ping pong match, just back and forth, back and forth. And once again, people are so wrapped up in looking at the tree, they can't see the forest. All of these emotionally immature and out of control fans, all they can see is they want the Astros to get to the playoffs, and they think that the guys they have should get it done. They should be hitting the ball better. They should be doing this. They should be doing that. And then when the Astros don't, they blow up and freak out. And then they start saying that the Astros don't deserve to go to the playoffs. Because in their mind, All right. In their mind, they're just not trying. They're not doing their best. They're being lazy, or they're being indifferent, or they're not being passionate, or whatever. They're not being something. And because of that, they don't deserve to go to the playoffs. But I often think about it as you're looking at your kid. If you have a son who's playing baseball, maybe he's middle school or something, and his team is struggling, and many of the kids get injured throughout the year. Maybe your own son gets injured. He comes back. He plays for a short time. He gets injured again. He has to go on he has to get rehabbed, and he comes back. And there are multiple players like that. And no matter what the team does, the coach mixes up the batting order. He brings guys in, new guys come in. They bring in some younger guys, whatever. Similar to the Astros, right? But this is a kids team. And all the kids are going out there, and like, no matter what the coach does, no matter what the team does, they're so inconsistent. You know, one game they will blow out the other team, and the next day the team that they're supposed to beat will blow them out. Maybe that team that's in last place will sweep them. It's mind-boggling. But if that happens to your son and your son's team, and then right at the end of the season, they still have an opportunity to get into the playoffs, are you going to tell your son, well, you know what, son? I know that if you win out these last 4 or 6 games, you have an opportunity to get into the playoffs. But you know what? To be honest, you and your team don't deserve it. Can you imagine telling your son that? Based on what? Based on what stupid information is such a comment? I'm sorry, but it's just a stupid comment. It's an unthinking comment, and that's what I mean by stupid. It means that when a person says that, they just aren't thinking. The Astros, in my opinion, out of all the teams in the MLB, are most deserving of going to the playoffs simply because of all the crap that they've been through this year. So I think opposite. I'm going to continue to support them, and I will be here doing all of their games, even if they get eliminated. If we have a couple of games left and they're still, and they're eliminated, it doesn't matter to me. I'm still going to do their games. I would much prefer that they be in the playoffs, even with a wild card spot. But I won't agree. I'm sorry, I just won't agree with anybody in saying that the Astros don't deserve to be in the playoffs. That's just nonsense talk. Nonsense talk to me. Mark says, everyone, Cleveland beat Detroit. The Red Sox are winning, so we need to buckle up. Yeah, I think that it was better if Detroit were to win and the Red Sox lose, right? I think that's the best situation. But unless Detroit just loses, if they win like one game and lose 5, then that's fine too, I think. Angel, Prius man of culture, I salute you as well. And thank you so much again for your email. And I've got the tracking info on that. I will update you as I get more information, but I am very moved by your generosity. Thank you so much. I'm kind of not feeling so well today because of a couple of reasons, but one of those is my neck. I spent so much time on the computer yesterday, but not here at home. And here at home, I have my main screen up here, so it's better for my neck. But I was at the cafe yesterday in town, and I sat there for several hours, and it wound up really bothering my neck. But then I slept wrong, and so that just exacerbated it. Moving around right now is a little painful. So I wouldn't say that I feel particularly physically good. But hopefully as the day progresses, I can feel better and better. We'll see. Fox at Bat says, go all the support to the channel and the Stros. Win or lose 100 games. Let's go Astros. 100%. 100 games or not. What's the point in being a bandwagon fan if you're only here when they win, you know? John says he's been grieving. Can we still make it to a wild card? We'll see. Hard to beat a Cal Raleigh going vintage Barry Bonds. Yeah. You know, and I will not blame the series on the umpires, but that's kind of like the icing on the cake. To me, the umpires being so bad in that series was like the icing on the cake. I mean, the Astros already had a hard enough time performing well at the plate and stopping the Mariners at the plate. But when you toss in the umpires, it's kind of like pouring lemon juice on the wound, you know, salt on the injury. Mark says if we win tonight, we'll be in a 3 or 4 team tie, and we have none of the tiebreakers. That's right. We cannot do a tiebreaker with these teams. That's the bad thing. The Astros could not get those series victories. Isn't it funny? We managed to get the series victory against the Rangers right at the end, but it turns out to not matter other than getting the silver boot. Right? That's funny. That's funny stuff. I need to change the color of this text here so it will stand out on the screen. That's better. There we go. I've got a portrait of their pitcher. He's obviously an elephant. Arlene says win, lose, or draw. Astros all the way. Show enough. Jeffrey Springs is on the mound for the A's. He will be tossing us some home run derby practice, hopefully, here in Sutter Home Park. Ben says, let's go Astros. Let's go Astros indeed. I think it's safe to say that Joe Espada's Coach of the Year bid is out the window. But if he could get the Astros back in it and give them a decently deep playoff run, he might get it after all. Right before the first pitch to Altuve, you can hear the police in the background. The sirens are so loud. I guess there's a lot of crime going on nearby. 0-1 is the count to Altuve. 79 below the zone on the changeup. 1-1 is the count. That's right, Texas Dave. Just win. Hello from H-Town, and hello from H-Town, Japan. Hiroshima Town. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Springs. Right on the outside edge, the Swiffer, strike 2. That was a nice slow pitch. Yeah, Jeffrey, that's right. Here comes the 1-2. Altuve lobs that one into right field. Should be easily playable, and it is. Altuve goes down with a fly ball to right field. One swing and one fly ball out. It looks like 50% of Springs' pitches are fastballs. That one's a Swiffer. Right in there in the middle of the zone. Strike 1 to Correa. Paredes is on deck. He's the DH today. Christian Walker is batting cleanup for some reason. Ground ball straight to the second baseman. Should be an easy out, and it is. 2 down. Yainer Diaz is batting 5th today. He's catching. Jake Meyer is batting 6th in center field. Zach Cole batting 7th in left field. Cam Smith batting 8th in right field. And Mauricio Dubon Batting ninth at shortstop. Pena is still out. No telling when he's going to be back. Here's the first pitch to Paredes. Just a little up and inside for ball one. Yeah, Mark, that's right. I forgot about that. Dubon went nuts here. He had a bunch of home runs. He owned this place. Be nice to see him do that again. Here's the 1-0 pitch. 78-mile-per-hour Swiffer just below the zone, swing and a miss. 1-1 to Paredes. Here comes a 1-1 below the zone on the changeup. This is the first time that Paredes and Springs have met in a game. Off the field, I don't know. Here's the 2-1. That's hit pretty hard, but straight up in the air. Shortstop goes back, and he will put it away. 1-2-3 for the Astros. 2 fly balls and a ground ball. They check his glove to make sure he's not doing anything cheeky. The second half of the inning coming up in just a moment. Finished with the top half of the first, very quiet, but it's nice to see no swings and misses, no strikeouts. That was nice. That's an improvement. Christian Javier will be on the mound. They've got Nick Kurtz leading off the batting. How does that make any sense? You got a guy that's hitting the ball that hard. And he's batting first? Kind of surprised to see that. Shea Langeliers on deck and Tyler Soderstrom in the hole. Yeah, Ryan, the second inning was indeed rough. Did you notice how the Astros relievers just completely shut it down after that, though? Alexander had such a great first inning, got destroyed in the second inning, and then from that point on, the Mariners couldn't do anything. And you're right. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Got to win at least 4 of the remaining 6 games just for a chance. No guarantee. Just a chance. Jeffrey wants to know if I see any baseball cards, either American or Japanese players, while out and about. Well, you have to be in the right stores to see baseball cards. You know, I don't see them in most places. You really have to go to like a sports shop or a place that has such things. It's so much easier, more convenient to find those things online. But if you want to go into one of the larger cities, like if I go into Hiroshima City, I can find some shops that have some cards. But they're not as popular here. That's ripped right down the line and into right field. Kurtz is headed towards second. Here comes the throw. Almost. Kurtz is churning the butter. That's what it looks like the A's are doing. This 91-mile-per-hour fastball right down the middle of the plate. No movement at all, just flat. This throw right here by Cam was not bad at all. Just couldn't be handled on the 2-hop by Altuve. If he had been able to catch that and make the tag, Kurtz would have been out. I was kind of surprised to see him run. He got lucky. Leadoff double on the first pitch. Langeliers at the plate. 76 just above the zone. He might, Ryan. He's already gotten started. He's got 1, just needs 5 more. Here's the toss. 77 right in there on the Swiffer. 1-1 is the count. Yeah, Mark, that's this area. Dubon spent a lot of time there Yeah, he didn't grow up there, but he lived there a lot. I mean, obviously he's from another country, so he started there, but he did spend a lot of time over and around this area. 2 balls and 1 strike. For those of you who didn't see it, there is a long interview with Dubon, and he talks about all of that stuff. Here's the 2-1 pitch. 92, just a little outside, fouled off, and the count is even, 2-2. Wow, the best records in the MLB in the last 50 games, top 5 belong to the American League. It's crazy. This is hit out into right field. Cam is over, but it goes off into the crowd. Yeah, nobody making it easy for us. The other teams are not making it easy for the Astros, that's for sure. We'll see how it goes. You never knows. Here's the toss. The 2-2 fouled off again. Remains 2-2. It's a very subdued game, it seems like. The crowd is modest. It's not a bad turnout considering that the A's don't really stand to benefit. Well, nothing is on the line with this game, really, other than to just play a game. Another foul ball by Langoliers. Kurtz on second base with no outs, 2 balls and 2 strikes here in the bottom of the first. Here's the pitch from Javi. High and outside on the knuckle curve. Full count. Make sure that you remember to leave a thumbs up on the video, on the live stream. It really helps me and the channel out. Builds the community. 92 on the outside edge, fouled off. 92 mile per hour fastball. Javier is up to 10 pitches now. 9 of those to Langoliers. This next one will be 10 to him. This one's hit high in the air. Altuve drifts back, and he will try to take it, and he does. Kurt stays on second base. Tyler Soderstrom comes to the plate with 1 out. Kurt's on second base. Here is the first pitch. Swing and a miss. Change up right in there. Strike 1. Hey, Gregory, good to see you. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. 93, fouled off in the top of the zone. It flies off into the crowd. The count is 0-2. Here comes the next toss. Low and inside. Swiffer 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the 1-2. Nice pitch. Another Swiffer right on the inside edge. The umpire liked it and rung him up. Strike 3. Javi picks up a K in 4 pitches. Beautiful. Right at the knees. Perfect. Yeah, right above the knees, actually. First pitch, right at the bottom of the zone. Called a ball, but that was perfect. Should have been a strike. 1-0 against Brent Rooker. 2 outs. Kurtz still hanging out on second base. Here comes the 1-0 pitch from Javi. That one was high. 2 balls, no strikes. Hey, Glenn. Ohayou gozaimasu to you, sir. I meant to send you a message, but at the time I thought of it, it was too late, so I decided to wait until today. I'll send it to you later, probably after the game. This is hit way up in the air on the infield. Correa, look at that. Are you kidding me? Kurtz scores all the way from second base. That ball went straight up in the air. Defensive failure. Javier tried to make a catch at the last moment. Correa came all the way over from third base. I'm kind of wondering why, because Walker was on the right side, but he just stood there. He says he didn't know where it was at. Javier tried to catch it at the last minute and missed it, and Kurt scores. So apparently it went above the lights, and Walker couldn't see it, so he didn't know where to go. Correa came running in, but he wasn't able to get it, and Javier missed it. So it's 1-0 A's. Jacob Wilson is at the plate with a runner on first. I don't know how the runner did not get to second base on that. I guess he was lollygagging. He didn't think that it was going to be dropped. Lazy runner. That pitch is high. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, it's basically dusk right now, and they said that once the ball goes above the lights, it's difficult to see it. I don't think that Christian Javier will be necessarily the greatest person to try to field such a fly ball, but it's crazy that Correa was the only one that could see it, but he had to come so far over just to try to make an attempt. But Javier was in the way, so he couldn't get it. Gregory says, perfecto. 2-1 to Jacob Wilson. Here's the toss. Outside. Jacob Wilson is doing really well in the MLB, especially in the American League. He's got the second best average, but he's batting 5th for some strange reason. Next pitch up and in. That's a walk. 5-pitch walk. Now we have runners on first and second with 2 outs. So if they had caught the fly ball, that would have been out number 3. But now instead, we have 2 runners on and we're down 1-0. It's not a good start. Gregory. Nice. I saw what you did there, sir. He said lucky a-holes, just like Bryce and the strangers. Yes, Mark, that's right. And by the way, the red bean and cream hot dog, breakfast hot dog, I was thinking about getting it yesterday, but it just wasn't a good day to get it, even though I had the day off. I had other things to do. But I'll get to it. I will get to it, I promise. Even though I don't want to, I will get to it. Rockies sweep the Mariners. How awesome would that be? 83 miles an hour. Lawrence Butler at the plate. Swing and a miss. 0-2 is the count. Nice changeup. Maybe they don't play October games in a minor league park because that would be terrible. Have they ever played playoff games? October playoff games? That's a strikeout. Butler goes down. We're finally out of the inning. That could have been worse. Should be 0-0, but the score is 1-0 A's. I don't know what it is about the Astros. It's like we have to give the lead away in the first inning, you know? Isn't it crazy that we just have to give the lead away, even to the A's, and we'll probably do it again to the Angels. Even if we win the game, it's like, nah, we have to let those guys, we have to spot them 1 or 2 runs to get started, and then we'll play catch up for the rest of the game. Jeffrey Springs will be back on the mound for the A's in just a moment. He's facing the inevitable Christian Walker, Yainer Diaz, and then Jake Myers. Shoot'em says, that's probably game with our offense. Yeah, the A's are going to beat us today 1-0. I'll tell you what, if the Astros actually lost this game today 1-0, it would be very difficult for me to come back and live stream tomorrow. I mean, I will no matter what, but they would make it so incredibly difficult. I can't imagine losing this game. Can you imagine the Astros getting shut out, no-hitter? Oh my gosh. I can't think of anything worse for this game. Unless you tacked on a couple of injuries. But I guess at this point in the season, it wouldn't even matter too much anymore. They are showing what the Astros did between June 16th and the 19th at this park. They averaged 7 runs per game. Walker swings at that first pitch and hits it out into right field. That's going to go right over the net. Kurtz was on it, but was not able to get it. Walker will go back and have another go. Shoot'em says the whole staff needs to be fired. Walker can go with them. Yeah, Ben. I don't want to imagine it either. But like I said in my other video and maybe, yeah, and earlier today, nothing surprises me. Anything the Astros do in a game or at an at-bat or in a series or for the season just doesn't surprise me anymore. Here's the next pitch. Whoa, way high. Bounces off the glove of Langoliers and bounces to the backstop. 1 ball, 1 strike to Walker. Springs shakes off like 4 pitches, and he's finally got what he wants. Here it comes. 91. Whoa, there we go again. High and outside. A couple of inches outside the zone, called a strike. Reminds me of the Seattle series. Where are they finding these umpires? 1 ball, 2 strikes. I don't think that Walker needs your assistance, Mr. Umpire. He can strike out on his own. But thanks for the assistance. He grounds this one to the left side. It's going to bounce through. 2 different guys missed it. Walker has a single. How about that? A bouncer to the left side. Third baseman dove at it. He couldn't get it. Shortstop tried for it. He couldn't get it. Harris and Wilson, it looks like. Let's take a look. 1 miss, 2 misses. Neither one of them were ready for it. One couldn't get it, the other wasn't ready for it. We got a runner on first base with no outs. Lead runner is on. One hitter, so no hitter, guys. Don't have to worry about that. Here's Diaz. Low and inside, ball one. Mark says Rockies up on the Mariners. 1-0. One ball, no strikes to Yiner in the dirts. 2-0. Ground ball on the left side. Another single right through the same spot. This time, it's Diaz. And Wilson was the one who dove at it and couldn't get it. So the Astros suddenly violating the same space on the field, just squeaking it through. These are the kind of hits that they needed to get against the Mariners and just couldn't do it. Jake Myers comes to the plate with 2 on and nobody out. 2 hits. 92, just below the zone. Could have been called either way. 1 ball, no strikes. Zach King Cole is on deck. A little low and inside. 2-0. Nice. Yeah, it's been a while since we've led a game. The only time it was tied with the Mariners was when it was 0-0. That was hilarious. Myers fouled that one off the front of the Astros dugout, and it hit the pipe. It caused the pipe to go boom, and it was close to a microphone, so it just kept ringing in my ear. 2-1 is the count. 20 pitches now for Jeffrey Springs. He steps off the rubber for a moment to reset the ye old pitch clock. 6-win streak and we're in, says Shrewdly. That would be nice. Bunt the Turtles over, yes. That was a nice pitch. Myers fouled it off. 91-mile-per-hour fastball. Count is 2-2. Slam us lobsters in. Help me! Bring me home! Walker and Diaz have their suitcases packed. And they want to travel back home. They're ready to come home. They've already seen the world. They've seen enough. 91 inside. Good take. Full count. Good take, Jake. Jake's on the take. Three and two. Here it comes. A little high, ball 4. How about that? Good gutsy take there. It was above the zone. Springs complains about it, but it was a ball. It was a good call. It was a ball. Zach Cole comes to the plate with bases loaded. Is something big about to happen? Or are we about to witness Zach King Cole's first GS? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say it. All I said was GS. It's going to be a good slice. Zach King Cole, is he going to have a good slice? A great slice? We'll see. While they're showing highlights, he takes a pitch for strike 1. It's 0-1 already. 0-2, 86 at the top of the zone. They're so busy showing highlights of Zach Cole. I didn't even get to see the first pitch. How stupid is that? And now it's 0-2. Bases loaded with no outs. Here's the toss. Oh, swing and a miss. Are you kidding me? What a terrible at bat. 3-pitch strikeout. And he strikes out on a 92 mile per hour fastball right in the low part of the zone. Completely hittable. By MLB standards, I think. 1 down. And Cam Smith, this is your opportunity to say, hey, Cole, I can do it too. I can do what needs to be done. Crank it up, Cam. He hits it out to right field. At least he got the bat on the ball. That's a start. 0-1 is the count. Zach, what you said makes no sense. Since my Rangers won't make it, then y'all won't either, Astros fans. Cry some more. That doesn't, since we didn't make it, then you won't make it. Makes no sense. That's like saying because I can't buy something, you can't either. Why not? If I have the money, if I get the money, I can buy it. 2 balls and 1 strike. If you can't date that girl, if I can't date that girl, then you can't date that girl. Well, if she goes out with me, I can. Woo, 78 on the outside edge. The changeup gets him swinging and missing. It's a 2-2 count. I'm going to put you in timeout, Zach, for 5 minutes. I doubt you'll stick around that long just to troll. That's right, shrewdly. This is the exact kind of a bat, and we failed that for the past 2.5 months. This is hit hard. Oh, it's going to score at least 1 run. There's a tag. Walker books it home. So Cam gets it done to tie the game. He didn't hit it deep enough, but he got a nice solid hit on it. Not deep enough for a grand slam, not for a Grammy. He doesn't get the Grammy, but he gets a consolation prize. 80 miles an hour, lower outside changeup. Good result. 2 down. 1-1. 2 hits for the Stros this inning. 1 walk. A sacrifice fly. And Dubon, this is a guy who could crank it out. This is his ballpark. Ryan says the run is good. That's right. Yeah, shrewdly, if he had gotten it on the fat part of the bat, that would have been a solid homer for sure. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Doobie. Ooh, big Swiffer. 2 balls and no strikes. Rangers fans coming in there because they're upset. There's no reason for a Rangers fan to be in this chat right now. They're only coming in here because they're so hurt and upset. 2 balls and 1 strike on the swing and a miss. Come on, Doobie-Doo. We need another run here. Take that lead back. Or take it. Take the lead. Break this tie. Here comes the 2-1. He hits that one straight up. Is it going to be playable? No, it sails into the crowd. Right over the dugout. 2-2 is the count. Mark says that the Rangers are losing to the Twins with their AAA roster. That's right. That is right. Tony thinks the Astros will make the playoffs, as it is Detroit that will be out of the playoffs. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 on and 2 outs to Doobie. Outside, full count. Well, you know, this is another good thing about this inning, that the Astros are making Springs work. He's up to 36 pitches now. He's sweating a lot, too. Working him like a horse. Like a workhorse. Timeout called by Doobie. Oh, I missed what Shoot said. Shoot says the Rangers have had an epic meltdown from champs to bums. Worry about that. Yeah, that's right. Speaking of meltdown, swing and a miss. Doobie completely misses that pitch on the outside edge, and that's going to be it for them this inning. But they tie it up. That's a lot of effort for one run, but it's better than getting nothing. But to load up the bases with no outs and to have a sacrifice fly, I mean, that's like... The only thing worse than that, maybe, is like you get hit by a pitch and then you get a run, or there's an error and you get a run. I think just slightly above that is the sacrifice fly. That's like the bare minimal that you can do as a batter. And then beyond that, maybe it would be walking. I think to get a walk with bases loaded is it's pretty amazing, right? Stand there and take the pitches and not swing at the garbage and then get the bases loaded walk. That's not easy. That takes discipline and patience. Taking the right pitches, you know. It's a little bit easier to just hit the ball and put it in play. It just happened to be deep enough for a sacrifice, and so they got one run out of it. I'm not complaining about getting one run, but it's just like what was said earlier by Shrewdly. This is the kind of at-bats that have caused the Astros to fail for the past few months. Getting guys on base and then just out, you know, just breaking down. We got lucky. So you're going to go all the way back. Okay, Zach, you know what? People like you are not welcome on the channel because you say things. I'm not saying you're stupid, but you say stupid things because the Astros didn't cheat to win the World Series. Go look at their games in Los Angeles. Number 2, how long ago was that? Number 3, your team cheats too. Your team has cheaters too. And who on this team is a cheater? You're living in the past. You're hanging on to that because you're hurting right now. You're hurting. And I get that. But you obviously don't have emotional control. Why come here? What you're wanting is you're hoping and you're crossing your fingers. Please, please, God, don't let the Astros get in the playoffs, because the Rangers started sucking and they missed the playoffs, and the Astros still have a chance. So you came here for no good reason. So see you. Darrell Hernandez, is that how you say his name? Hernandez is at the plate. 0-1 is the count. Here's the toss. 77 miles an hour goes straight up. The Astros should not be able to catch it because, you know, it's a fly ball. Cam Smith comes in and takes it. Out number 1. I know that Zach Tabor, the guy that was in the chat, he's been here before. He's just a troll, so he's done on this channel. You won't see him anymore unless he changes his name and comes back on another account. But in that case, I'll just get rid of him again. It's much easier for me to get rid of him than it is for him to make another account and come back. So he can do it. We can do this all day long. We can do this all day. Carlos Cortez at the plate, and that ball is outside for a 1-0 count. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. 93, low and inside, misses the corner. 2-0. That's right, Shrewdly. Rangers, you can call them the Texas Reuters. Yeah, the Rangers should go to Houston and clean that silver boot, clean all that dust off. You know what? If they try to move it, they'll probably think it's glued to the floor and realize it's just stuck there because it hasn't been moved in so long. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Hobby. Nice. Right in the top of the zone on the Swiffer. It's 2-2. Well, there have been a couple of negative people in the chat, Rich, but I haven't seen any negative Astros fans in the chat, just other teams. He rings him up for strike 3. The crowd and the dugouts yelling at the umpire on that one. Even the coach didn't like it. Let's take a look at the placement. A little low, but it did catch a part of the zone. So if it's close, you got to swing. You know what my rule is? I say my rule, but any coach, any player would agree with me. If you got 2 strikes and it's close, you got to swing. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. 92 miles an hour on the sinker. Strike 1 against Brett Harris. 2 outs, nobody on here in the top. I'm sorry, the bottom of the second. Outside on the Swiffer. 1-1. Yeah, everybody give Zach a nice farewell, permanent farewell, because I don't have time. Ain't nobody got time for that. People like that on this channel. Hey, Doug. Glad to see you here. I sure hope that it's a wonderful game for you to listen to before you retire tonight. That's hit high in the air out to left field. Dubon is underneath it. And he puts it away. Oh, no, that's Zach Cole. Dubon. I don't know why they said Dubon was underneath it. The Astros commentators threw me off there for a second. Zach Cole out in left field. Dubon was tracking it, but it floated out to left, and Cole put it away for out number 3. So 2 hits for the Stros, 1 for the A's. We are finished with 2 innings of ball. The score is tied 1-1. Top of the third coming up with my hero, Jose Altuve, due up, followed by Carlos Correa and Isaac the Ball Paredes. I think what I'm going to do, I'm thinking about making an emoticon for Isaac Paredes and removing my emoticon for Christian Walker, because Walker doesn't deserve to have an emoticon, but Paredes earned his. The only reason I didn't have an Isaac the Ball Paredes emoticon before is because he was out with an injury. But now that he's back, I would much rather have his emoticon than have a Christian Walker emoticon. So I think my emoticons can be shuffled depending on who has earned it. You know what I'm saying? But I do call Isaac Paredes the fast turtle. Now, right now, he is the slow fast turtle because of his hamstring recovery. But normally, he's the fast turtle. The crowd is booing, so that must mean that Altuve is coming to the plate. Yes, that's right, Ben. Who has time for negative people like that? Ain't nobody got time for that. First pitch to Altuve is hit high in the air out to left field. Wilson is back, and he puts it away for out number 1. 1 swing and 1 down. That's the second fly out for Altuve. Once to right field, once to left. Yep. How sad is it that the Rangers don't have any boots? South Korea comes to the plate. He's getting the boos too. All right. Equal opportunity boos for the Astros. Here's the first pitch to Correa, just below the zone and outside. 1-0 is the count. Shrewdly says, actually feel bad for Rangers fans. Oh, wait, not really. They have one good year every 10 to 12 years. We have ERAs that last 10 to 12 years. Oh, eras. I'm sorry. I was thinking stats. I was like, what? ERAs? Oh, yeah, eras. That's right. 2 balls and no strikes to Correa. A couple of good takes. Here comes the next one. That one is in there for a strike. 2-1. Right on the outside edge. The cutter cut right in there for strike 1. I'm going to hurt Walker's feelings. Yeah, Walker probably goes back and listens to and watches my live streams. He's going to be upset. During every game, he's like, "Hey, check it out, guys. There's my emoticon. Look at my emoticon. It's so cute." And then later on, "Oh no, they removed it." Here comes a 3-1. Correa tried to hold up on that high pitch, but couldn't. The count is now full. It would be kind of funny, though, to find out that one of the players had actually somehow found my channel and was looking at their emoticons and showing them to the other players. Look at this, look how cute that is. That's awesome. 93 outside. Good take by Correa, and we have a runner on with 1 out. Second walk of the night for Springs. Yeah, Gregory, it doesn't matter. You know, the Astros could literally get rid of all of their players in the offseason. They could unload everybody and just load them up with players like Zach Cole, you know. They could have Cam Smith and Zach Cole, and they could bring in nothing but rookies. They could have 100% rookies. Everybody no older than 25 years old. They could literally fill out the team with a bunch of new guys. 0-1 to Paredes on that first pitch, by the way. Here's the pitch. Second pitch, way inside, 1-1. They could do that. They could literally do that, and the Astros are still going to be called cheaters and all of that, just nonstop by all these low IQ people that don't know anything. Because they are monkeys, unthinking, programmed monkeys. 89, low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Correa on first base. Here in the top of the third. Jeffrey Springs shakes off about 6 different pitches. Does he even have that many pitches? Whoa, this is crushed to left field, way out there, but it's going to float foul. Man, that was way high. If he had straightened that one out, it could have gone out of the park. It went way up and out to the left. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count. Yeah, Gregory, not just that, not just the home runs, but the lack of hitting when it really mattered. This is another one skied way up in the air, but this one is playable by Wilson. At shortstop, he floats out and grabs it in the grass, and Paredes goes down. With the fly ball, Correa on first base remains. And speaking of Christian Walker, he comes to the plate. He managed to poke a single through the left side, but one of the subscribers said the other day, why is it that Walker gets the hits when nobody's on base? We have bases loaded, and he doesn't do anything. First pitch is low, below the zone. It does feel that way, you know. I don't know what the stats are on that, but it does feel like he gets the hits when there's like no pressure on him, you know. He has a lot of those. All his home runs are mostly like solo homers. Swing and a miss. 1-1 is the count. Hey, we're the monkeys. Here's the 1-1, another swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Shirley says, Paredes, Yordan next year, pitcher will have 40 pitches a game just to those two. Heck, sometimes those pitchers can have 40 pitches just to Paredes. But yeah, you're right. Just those two guys in the lineup gonna make those pitchers work. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and Correa on first base. Here's the pitch to Walker. Outside. Not even Walker will swing at that one. I would say that Walker, though, isn't really much of a chaser, which is kind of funny because even though he doesn't chase the balls way outside so much, he still has a ton of strikeouts. Almost all of those are swinging at balls in the zone. It's crazy. Here's the 2-2. That's on the outside edge. He hits it out to right field, way out to the wall. Is it foul? Holy cow, that was almost a home run. Walker homered foul. It missed the foul pole by just a couple of feet. The crowd went completely quiet there. The crowd's already pretty quiet, but look how close that was. Almost hit it. Almost hit the pole. People didn't even know that there was a ball coming out there. They'd hit the ground there suddenly like, oh, hey, there's a baseball. Good heads up there, guys. You go to a baseball game and you don't even look and see what happened. Whoa. Look at that. Line drive. Straight back at the pitcher. Took his glove off. He says he's okay. But Walker is going to be on first with the hit. Look at this. Woof. Man, you could hear it smack his glove. No play at first base. Another single for Walker. Well, that's one way to get hits. You know, if you can't get hits any other way, you might as well hit the players. Oh, man. Yonder actually is batting pretty good this month with 2 runners on. Oh, I'm sorry, with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Kind of an interesting stat. 5 for 9. It's a very small sample size, though. Yeah, that was a nice hard smack, too. Diaz grounds the first ball foul down the third base side. 0-1 is the count. We've got runners on first and second. Correa on second. Walker on first. 3 hits now for the Stros overall. 1 this inning and 1 walk. Walker just missed a 2-run homer by a couple of feet. Let's see what Yiner can do. Here's the 0-1 pitch. He takes a strike. And there's the train. I can hear the train in the background. Hearing the train toot the horn in the background. Kind of nostalgic. I haven't heard that sound in so long. Yiner chases that one outside and fouls it off. The count remains 0-2. Yeah, that big freight train horn. I don't hear that here in Japan. It's a little different. Sounds a little different. Skywalker said to leave his emoji alone. Yeah, he's upset now. He gets upset and he starts hitting. This is hit high in the air. That should be an easy play, but then again, who knows? Wow, the right fielder slides in and almost takes out Hernandez or Hernandez or whatever his name is. But he puts it away for out number 3, so the Astros create 2 more lobsters. They lose 2 more. Maybe there was a typhoon. Maybe there was a typhoon and the Astros lost that last boat. They had 2 in the boat. 2 in the trap. Big ones. Just waiting to be brought in. They lost them. Are you guys ready for the lobster count? Because even though it's only in the 3rd inning, the lobster count's crazy. Can you believe this? Look at that. The Astros have only had 3 at-bats. I'm sorry, 3 innings to come to the plate. And they've already lost 8 opportunities. We've had 8 guys on base that have not been moved around. That's 8 already. 8. They're averaging almost 3 per inning. So we're getting guys on base and then just leaving them there. I mean, it's... Can you imagine going out in your boat? In one day, you go out 9 times. The first 3 times you go out, you bring back 1 lobster. And then they ask you, how many did you actually catch? We caught 9. Why did you bring back 1? We lost the other 8. How crazy is that? That's literally what the Astros have done. Nick Kurtz is at the plate again. He had a hit on the very first pitch, his last at bat. The Swiffer he takes there for strike 1. Javi back on the mound. Here is the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on the sinker right in there. 0-2. 2 pitches, 2 strikes. Can I do one at bat in Japanese? I sure can try, but it's a little difficult because there's some vocabulary in baseball that I don't know. Like the word for swing and miss. I've never used these words. And pitch and throw, I haven't used these words. Didn't learn those. I used a lot of standard daily language. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. After the first 2 strikes, Javier comes back with 2 straight balls to Nick Kurtz. Here comes the 2-2. Ground ball opposite side, but right to Correa. He fires it over to first base, and that will be out number 1. 1 up and 1 down. Shea Langoliers due up next. Ima Shea Langoliers-san desu. バットの前にストライクアウトと思います。いえ、フライアウトでした。1番ヒット高いです。マヨさんは悪いでした。I tried my best. Fly ball to center field. Jake Myers went sliding for it, but was not able to pull it in. Great effort by Myers, but as he wrestled with the ball, it came out. He caught it. Wow, look how close that was to being a great catch. He caught it, and it popped up out of his glove and dropped it. I think it might have hit the ground, though. Even after he caught it, it might have hit the ground. I don't know. Hard to say. First pitch to Soderstrom is a ball, 1-0. Runner on first with 1 out. Here's the toss. Opposite field, right to Craig. Goes to second base. Good throw. No double play, but they get the lead runner for out number 1. Nice play by Correa. What could have been an opposite field hit, but he happened to be in the right spot. 2 down. That's funny. Zach actually came back. We guessed right. He's such a hardcore troll that he had to go on another account and come back to troll. Go have fun on the Astros Instagram blog. I'm sure you won't last there very long either. See you. Have fun with your useless waste of life. Runner is picked off. They say that he got him. Altuve tags him at second base. Soderstrom is picked off by Javier. Javier throws it to Walker. Walker throws it to Altuve. Altuve tags him out. So they get Soderstrom stealing. Brent Rooker will be back up in the next inning to finish or to have a new at bat. That's 3 outs. The Astros eliminate their base runners one at a time, one on a force out and one on an attempted steal that was a pickoff. Good D. We go into the top of the fourth. That's the end of the third. Astros do up Jake Myers, Zach Cole, and Cam Smith. Isn't it funny that I assumed that this guy, Zach, this emotionally unstable Rangers fan, probably a friend of Bryce Patrick, was so upset, and I said he'll probably go to the trouble of coming back on another account. And sure enough, he did. And why did he come back? To tell us that he was going to the Astros, the Houston Astros Instagram account to troll there. I mean, what's the point? What is the point in that? People are so strange. Some people, not all people, just some people are so strange, right? So strange. Yeah, that's right, Ryan. I remember that game. You're talking about the game where Paredes saw like 35 of the starters' 90 pitches. Yeah, he saw more than a third. More than a third of all the pitches went to Isaac Paredes. That's right. Yeah, Doug says the MLB will allow robot umpires for ball and strike appeals next year. Now, yeah, I heard a couple of months ago that it was likely that they were going to implement that next year, and I really hope they do, because for those of you who did not see the All-Star game, now I didn't watch the All-Star game in its entirety, but I did watch a little bit of it. First pitch to Myers is a strike on the outside edge, a slider. 0-1 is the count. But I watched a little bit of the All-Star game, and they were using the automatic ball strike system. ABS brakes. Myers hits that one way up in the air on the infield. Wilson is underneath it, and he puts it away for out number 1. Zach Cole due up. But anyway, here's the interesting thing. The ABS system, the automatic ball strike system, can be used to challenge the call by the umpire by either the pitcher, the catcher, or the batter. And out of all the pitches that were challenged, guess how many of them? Can you guys guess how many of them were overturned in the All-Star game? 1-0 up and in. 2-0. Fox at Bat says, for me, this team has a lot of potential regardless of what happens, and with better luck in terms of injuries next year, that they are better connected on the field. Yep. 90 just above the zone, fouled off by Cole. 2-1 is the count with 1 out, nobody on. Here's a 2-1. Swing and a miss on the slider. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Okay. Every single pitch that was challenged by either the batters or the pitchers or the catchers, every single one was overturned. This is it way up in the air again. Another fly ball to the infield. Had a little trouble getting it. Almost ran into Cole on the play, but that's out number 2, and Cam Smith comes to the plate. So basically, every single call that they challenged against the umpire, the players were right. So whenever the batter said, you know what, I'm going to challenge that, I think that was a ball, they were right. And when the catcher said, I think that was a ball, or I think that was a strike, and they challenged it, they were right. And when the pitchers challenged it, they were right. 100% of the time, the players are right. How about that? Go figure. Here's the 1-0 to Cam. 91 mile per hour fastball that counts 1-1. Well, you know, Fox at Bat, going back to what you were saying about the Astros' potential, you know, somebody was, I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was Chandler Rome and those guys comparing them to the Mariners, or which of the, I think it was Crush City territory. I think so. Don't quote me on that. But they were talking about the Astros aging and getting older versus the core of the Mariners being pretty young and having these guys locked down for several years. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Cam. Fouled it off, 2-2, with 2 outs, nobody on. But I see it a little differently. I think the Astros do have some young talent coming in, but the veterans that they have in there, like Altuve and Correa, that will be there for the next few years, I think that's good to have that leadership and those veterans there. Swing and a miss, 88 miles an hour above the zone, and that's strike 3. Cam goes down swinging. Nothing for the Astros in the top of the 4th. It's 1-1. Still tied after 3.5. 3 hits for the Stros, 2 for the A's. 1 error on a fly ball by the Astros. Brent Rooker is due up, followed by Jacob Wilson and Lawrence Butler. Javier will be back on the mound with 46 pitches under his belt, 29 in the zone. But anyway, yeah, they were basically saying that, yeah, I mean, they weren't saying it directly, but they were insinuating that, number one, the Astros are screwed because they've got guys under contract for like 5 more years who are already 35, i.e. Jose Altuve. They've got guys like Correa that are older, and they're not going to get better. They're just going to continue to decline. And they don't have any depth in their starting rotation right now. And you know, we've got one guy, Hunter Brown, essentially. And we've got a relieving bullpen that needs off-season help, and it needs to be rebuilt. But they were primarily saying that the Astros were an old team, they were aging, and that the Mariners were a young team, and they had them locked down for several years, whereas we've got old guys locked down for several years. And basically, I feel like it was just, maybe it's because of the Mariners series, because the timing of it is not lost on me. It was not lost on me. They came out with this video after the Astros lost the 3-game series to the Mariners. And so after just these 3 games, suddenly it's like the Mariners' time is now and the future is theirs over the next 5 years. It's easily all Mariners all the time. And the Astros are just old and done and washed up. And these are our own reporters, you know. This is hit high out to right field on the very first pitch. Rooker flies out to Cam Smith, 1 down on 1 toss from Javi. Anyway, I just thought that it was an emotionally driven take. It is true that we got a couple of guys that are older, but you want to have some veterans on your team. You don't want to have a team just full of, quote, young talent. Young talent can be streaky. Mariners might be looking awesome right now, but it doesn't mean anything when they get into the playoffs. And it doesn't necessarily run over to next year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's right, shoot. That guy, Zach, that came in here, get a life for sure. High pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mariners and the Rockies are tied up 1-1 in the 6th inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Speaking of 1-1, that's a ball outside. 2-1 to Jacob Wilson. 1 down, nobody on here in the bottom of the 4th. Yeah, and honestly, I know that we don't have the best bullpen right now. We're kind of beat up and taxed. Wow, that's ripped into left field right past a diving Correa. Wilson on his way to second. Here's the throw, but he's going to get in there, no problem. Runner on second with one out. A double for Jacob Wilson. Zach Wilson. Yeah, Wilson is a really good hitter, and he's really fast. I wouldn't mind having him on the Astros. I don't understand why they have him batting fifth, though. I'd put him first. Lawrence Butler at the plate. First pitch on the way. Swiffer up and inside. Ball one. But I will say this, the Astros relievers, have been getting better. They've been kind of gelling and working together a little better despite the diversity. So can't complain about them right now. Javi comes off the mound and fakes a throw to second. I wouldn't say that we're struggling against the A's just yet. I mean, they're getting on base, just haven't been driving them in, and the A's only have one run on the board. So I wouldn't say that they're struggling yet. But you know what? I know that the A's are and the Angels are getting an unfair treatment, I think. When you compare their record to the Astros, everybody's talking about how horrible they are. But if you actually look at the amount of games it would take to swing their record to where the Astros record is, it wouldn't require that many. If you just swapped six wins for losses, that would drastically change their record. 2 balls and 1 strike to Butler. Here comes the toss. Nope, he comes off. Another fake throw to second base. If Wilson wants to try to steal third, he's going to have an opportunity to try it right here without having to worry about Javi coming off necessarily. Here's the 2-1. This is hit high in the air on the right side. Altuve calls for it, and he puts it away. Good catch there. It looks like Altuve can see the ball just fine. Two down, and Daryl Harnays comes to the plate. Hey, Eric. Geaux Stros indeed. Geaux Stros from Mexico's. Yes, that's right, Shrewdly. And yet, even with all that, the Mariners have won nothing. Swiffer way outside. Ball 1 to Harnays. Not much. What's up with you, Eric? Or Threak? But I think that's Eric. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. 93 inside with the sinker. 1-1 is the count. Yeah, that's right. They said the same thing about the Rangers and nothing happened to them. I mean, that's the thing. For a moment, the Rangers look like, holy crap, they are strong. They're going to just destroy it. They're going to win the World Series again next year. And then they just died. That's going to drop into left field. Dubon could not get to it. Harnays gets a bloop single into left field. It's 2-1. Wilson easily able to score because there were 2 outs. He was off and running as soon as that ball was hit, maybe even before. Dubon ran out there. Harnays just got a lucky hit. He went down and chased a ball almost in the dirt. Dubon couldn't get to it. Cole couldn't get to it. That's going to be a hit. Carlos Cortez comes to the plate, takes that first pitch high and outside for ball 1. A's get lucky again. An infield fly ball that the Astros could not see because of the lights. And then a bloop single to left field. These are the 2 RBIs that the A's have. This is how teams like this win games against the Astros, just getting lucky. 1 ball, 1 strike. 60 pitches now for Javier. Here's the next toss to Cortez. High for ball 2, 2-1. Yeah, the Astros need to hit. Well, the Astros have been getting on base. They just haven't been driving in the runners. So runners in scoring position. That's been the main issue. 85 on that outside edge. Nice changeup. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, shrewdly. That sure would be nice. The invisible from Javier. Well, JD, we don't know if the Mariners sweep took the wind out of the sails yet. Too early to say that. The Astros had a good and seemingly turnaround series against the Rangers. Failed against the Mariners. But this is our first game after that, so it's too early to say if the wind has been taken out of the sails of the Astros. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. That's hit hard to center field. Should be playable. Cam's underneath it, and Myers calls him off and takes it for out number 3. So that will shut it down. 2 hits, 1 run on a bloop single to left field. The A's over the Stros 2-1. Mauricio Dubon, who owns this park, is due up, followed by Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa. Rockies are back up 3-1. Nice over the Mariners in the 6th. The Colorado Rockies doing to the Mariners what we were unable to do, and that is establish a lead. Are you expecting a loss already, Eric? So early in the game, man. It's not even halfway done. We're just now about to start the top of the 5th. Don't give up yet. Come on now. Have a little more faith than that. JD says, I'll always pull for our division teams in the playoffs if we aren't it. I won't. It depends on who it is and who they're playing. It depends on the combination of those things. I think I said that the other day. I would prefer for certain teams to win. And I would also prefer for certain teams to always lose. Some of those teams exist in the American League and some of them exist in the National League. So I'm not going to pull for the American League by default, and I'm not going to pull for the American League West by default. For example, let's say that, I don't know, if the Mariners were to play the Dodgers in the World Series, it would pain me because I don't like either team, but I would have to pull for the Mariners because the Dodgers are the one team that I can't stand the most. So the Mariners would be the lesser of 2 evils in that situation. 0-1 to Doobie. He hits this one high in the air. Is that another fly ball? It is on the left side. Foul territory taken in. What is with the Astros flying out to the infield over and over again? The A's have also flown out a few times to the infield tonight. So many missed home run opportunities. Speaking of that, Altuve comes to the plate. He flew out to right field and then flew out to left field. Here comes the first pitch to my hero. That was called a strike, even though it was up and out of the zone. 0-1. Here comes the next pitch. Who would you guys root for if the Mariners were playing the Phillies? This is hit up the middle. Wilson grabs it, throws it over to first base. Altuve grounds out for out number 2. Altuve has put the bat on the ball every time, but it's been ground out, pop out, fly out, pop out, and then ground out. The crowd boos again, giving some generous support to Carlos Correa. With nobody on and 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Here comes the pitch. Outside. Well, I think, JD, I could have guessed that since you've already said that you'd pull for the division teams in the playoffs. I could have guessed that. I'm not a fan of the Phillies. I can't stand their fans, but I don't necessarily have any problems with their team. How about let's go with the New York Mets, okay? Let's say that the New York Mets were to play the Mariners in the World Series, and just for fun, let's say if that were to happen, who would you rather see win the World Series? If the Mariners had not won a World Series yet, and they were playing the Mets, who would you pull for? Swing and a miss, 90 miles an hour right in there, and that evens the count 2-2 to Correa. I'm telling you right now that I would go for the Mets. Not that I like the Mets, but I don't have any problems with the Mets. Just can't stand the Mariners. That's a line drive to center field right at Butler, and he's able to put it away for out number 3, and that's it for the Astros. 3 up and 3 down. Man, they just keep flying out right and left. Fly out, pop out, fly out, pop out, pop out, fly out, fly out. 5 innings of hitting for the Astros, but only 3 hits and 8 lobsters. They haven't even had any guys on base the past couple of innings. The Athletics now have 7 lobsters, but they have 2 runs on the board. 4 hits. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Javier at 64 pitches, 39 of those in the zone. Brett Harris will be at the plate, followed by Nick Kurtz and Shea Langoliers. I don't like the Mets either, but I like the Mariners even less. And JD, you're right. Philly fans are bad. I wouldn't say they're the worst, but they are close. Yankees fans, Dodgers fans, they are also really bad. Yeah, Fox at Bat kind of feels like I do. I don't know. The only thing I'm sure of is that as long as it's neither the Dodgers nor the Yankees, I'm with you on that. That's why I say that if the Mariners, I don't like the Mariners, but if the and I don't like the Rangers, but if they were to play the Dodgers or the Yankees, I would definitely pull for the Mariners or the Rangers. I wouldn't like it. It's like choosing between something you really, really can't stand and something you hate. It's a very small line, a very small difference, you know? Welcome to the A's ballpark where you can sit out on the grass, fight off the mosquitoes, and watch a ball game. Here comes the first pitch to Brett Harris. Hey, we got one back, 78 miles an hour outside on the Swiffer. 0-1 is the count. We are underway with the bottom of the 5th. Here comes the next pitch from Javier. Low and outside, 1-1. Yeah. By and large, the Yankees fans are trashy, and the Phillies fans are trashy. But then again, the Dodgers fans are they're different, but they're also trashy. They're just different. They are entitled and they have a superiority complex. 2 balls and 1 strike to Harris. And of course, I know that we're talking about generalities. For those of you who think that I'm talking about 100% of all their fans, I'm not. We're just talking about the general mood of the atmosphere of their online trolls and their fans in the stadium during the games. Got about 120 people watching the game right now. Thanks for being here. If you have not liked the live stream, which a majority of you have not, please do that right now. Just click that thumbs up right below the video. Looks like they got the bullpen going now for the A's. Tyler Ferguson, I believe, is pitching out in the bullpen. The 2-2 pitch is low and outside. That's a full count to Brett Harris. No outs, nobody on. Bottom of the 5th. Javier trying to nail down this out and then move on to the start or the top of the lineup. This is hit hard out to left field, pretty deep. Zach Cole at the wall, can't get it. That's going to be a stand-up double. That's 3 doubles off of Javier in 5 innings. Yeah, that's right, JD. Dodger fans think they're special. They do. They're entitled. They're heavily entitled. When they get knocked out of the playoffs or they lose a World Series, they don't understand, you know. It reminds me, and I know it sounds kind of a silly, you're like, what's the connection? But it kind of reminds me of when I was in China and I would be talking with somebody who was a big time government supporter, a Communist Party member. If you guys have never talked with an honest to God Chinese Communist Party member and a supporter of the Chinese government, then you're missing out because their thinking is broken. 76 miles an hour to Nick Kurtz, high and outside for ball 1. 1-0. If you give them a fact, it's like it shuts their mind down, and that's how Dodgers fans are when they get knocked out of a game, out of the playoffs. 92, low and inside. That's a strike. 1-1. The crowd is booing about that pitch, but it was a nice pitch right on that inside corner. Might as well be quiet and accept it. The Astros have had worse pitches. Here comes the 1-1. Little outside. 2-1. Yeah, the Phillies, I think they feel really, really robbed with that series. They were a strong team and they had a chance, but the Astros were just too much. They were just too much. Whew. 78 miles an hour fouled off. And Kurtz lost his hat. That man has lost his hat. He took a big cut at it. All he could do was foul it back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runner on second. No outs. Here comes the pitch to Kurtz. Come on, Javi. Woo, so close. Just missed a couple inches inside. Full count. Second full count in a row. Looks like we got Jaden Murray warming up a little bit or just getting started out in the bullpen for the Stros. Is that Fried Okert? Yeah, I think I saw Fried Okert out there. Just standing by, checking out his fingernails. Nice pitch. Javier brings it in with the Swiffer. And Nick Kurtz goes after it. Look at this. He throws it up and it comes back and in. Boom. Sit down, boy. Sit down, rookie. That's right. That's what a veteran pitch looks like. That's out number 1. Shea Langoliers comes to the plate. Here's the first toss from Javi. That one is hit hard to left field. Should be in the park, though. Cole grabs it and throws it in. Harris tags and goes to third base. 2 down. Tyler Soderstrom comes to the plate. Yeah, Ben, I lived in China for almost 7 years, and I learned really quickly, if you don't want to get a headache, if you don't want to create a headache, then you just don't talk to Communist Party supporters, because their way of thinking is really broken. And I'm not just saying that, it's true. If you introduce facts, they can't process facts. That's going to be another run. It's hit out into center field all the way to the wall. It gets by Myers, and that's the 4th double of the game. Soderstrom this time smacks it all the way to the wall. It's 3-1 A's. Javier up to 79 pitches right now. And he has given up 6 hits, 3 runs. That was an 80-mile-per-hour Swiffer, but the placement was terrible. Instead of starting in the zone and ending up low and inside, it started up and out and came right down in the zone. And Espada says, that'll be enough. Can you imagine how different the game would have gone for the Astros if they had pulled Jason Alexander after an inning like that? I mean, I know they would have been early to pull him out in the 2nd inning after giving up just a couple of runs. But, you know, can't predict the future, right? My guess is that Jaden Murray is coming in. That's the only guy I saw warming up in the bullpen. Go ahead and drop his image in there. Let's take a look at the scoreboard and see what's going on. The Nationals lost to the Braves 2-3. The Mets beat the Curbs 9-7. Good job. Can't stand the Curbs. The Twins AAA team beat the South Oklahoma Rangers 4-1. Kansas City Royals in the top of the 7th are over the Angels 5-2. The Dodgers are over the Diamondbacks 4-0 in the 7th, in the bottom of the 7th. The Rockies are beating up on the Mariners 3-1 in the 7th, the bottom of the 7th. Go, go, go. Go, go, Gadget Rockies. The Brewers in the top of the 8th are losing to the Padres 0-6. The Cardinals are losing in the top of the 6th to the Giants 3-7. And of course, the Astros are allowing the Athletics to have a 2-run lead. It's 3-1 here in the bottom of the 5th. And that's the NFL score from the Texans' last game. We can just ignore that, right? We can forget about that. Brent Rooker is at the plate facing Jaden Murray. First pitch is way outside. We got a runner on second base with 2 outs. Ball 1. Mariners as. That's a hilarious nickname there. Nice pitch, 94 sinker right in there for strike 1. The count is even. So if you're an Athletics fan, how do you feel about the A's trading Kurtz to the Astros for like 10 players? 2 balls and 1 strike to Rooker. Well, they might. You never know. They might play spoiler, but they might not. You never know. We'll see. Here's the pitch. Outside. 3-1 from Jaden Murray. The Mariners, as says, the most annoying fans ranked New York Yankees, Philadelphia Phillies, Boston Red Sox, Los Angeles Dodgers, Astros in front of the Cubs. Are you kidding me? Another pitch outside, and that is a 5-pitch walk by Jaden Murray to Brent Rooker. We have two runners on with 2 outs. Jacob Wilson is due up. It's not a guy you want to see with runners on base. I don't personally have anything against the Mets, the White Sox, the Braves, or the Cardinals fans. They don't. Maybe it's just because of the Astros. I don't know. But then again, all teams fans boo whenever Altuve comes to the plate, and that's just stupid. I'm sorry, but people who boo Altuve when he comes to the plate, they are willfully ignorant. They are choosing to be stupid or willfully ignorant, one of those. Foul ball down the first base side. 0-2 is the count against Wilson. JD says not being able to process facts is a scary thought. Hell is described as a place where there is no reason. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball to the right side, and it gets through. Told you that this guy's not someone you want to pitch to with runners in scoring position. Pitch comes in, or the throw comes in, but it's too late. Soderstrom scores, and it's 4-1. The Astros are starting to show some flashes of just not really wanting to be in a postseason. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. Lawrence Butler comes to the plate. Here comes the first pitch to Butler. And that one, unfortunately, also gets charged to Javier. So Javier now has 4 earned runs. That's a nice pitch for strike 1. Here comes the 0-1. 95 at the top of the zone, fouled off. So he gets him down in the count also 0-2. He got Wilson down 0-2, but it didn't matter. He was able to get an opposite field hit. Butler, not quite as good as Wilson, but still a dangerous hitter. You gotta make sure to put it in there. You gotta execute. Here's the 0-2 pitch. 95 at the top of the zone. Is hit straight up. Is it playable? Correa's over, and he makes the play in foul territory. Nice. So that's out number 3. No more damage, but the A's now have 7 freaking hits against the Astros. Javier has 4 earned runs. It is 4-1 going into the top of the 6th. Astros with only 3 hits. Isaac Paredes is due up, followed by Christian Walker and Yainer Diaz. Ben says, I'm down in Australia and the CCP has quite a lot of pull in our economy and politics. Oh, yeah, I'm well aware. They are heavily influential. They've gotten way up into the politics and the economy of Australia. Yeah, I know very well that Australia has suffered in an uncountable number of ways. As it relates to the Chinese Communist Party. Australia needs a reset with its Chinese citizenry. Obviously, not all Chinese are communist supporting members, but they have saturated Australia's economy and politics to an extent that I worry about how much it will take to recover, you know? Ryan says, I was hoping they'd trade Constellation Field for Nick Kurtz. That's funny. Darlene says Mariners as, aka Zach. Who cares? Could be. You never know. All right, shoot 'em. I get it. If you can't watch the game, I get it. Thank you for being here. Thanks for supporting. And enjoy the rest of your day or whatever you choose to do. Have a good one. Pitch is low. Tyler Ferguson is now pitching for the A's. See if I can change his name on screen. Swing and a miss right in there. Strike two. Tyler Ferguson. Esoc calls timeout. 0-2's the count. Ben says choosing to be stupid. Yeah, that's right. Some people do. Here's a pitch in the dirt. 1-2. Charlie says it's been an honor, gentlemen. Like the violinist in Titanic. Go down playing with the ship. Low and outside, 2-2. So you think that people don't understand that? Mariners as says what people don't understand is when a team is battling for a playoff spot, facing a team not in the playoffs, that team is gonna out. That team out gonna play spoiler. That's some terrible grammar there. You need to learn how to write. See you later. Now you're just talking stupid. If you're gonna come in here and say rude things, at the very least use proper grammar, because I can't understand what you're trying to say. Reading comprehension, writing, go back to school and learn how to do those things, and you can come back to my channel and speak with us. But obviously, you're not on the level to deserve to talk with this group. Swing and a miss on the 2-2 pitch, low and inside, and that's strike three. Predis goes down. Out number one. Christian Walker due up, followed by Yainer Diaz. Here comes the first pitch to Walker. Walker actually has 2 singles today. But oddly enough, no RBIs. 2 singles, no RBIs. Foul ball, 0-1 is the count. Here comes the pitch. 95-mile-per-hour sinker right in there, 0-2. Tony says Mariners losing to the Rockies 3-1 in the 8th. Yeah, well, it just disappeared. I'll try to get back to it when it comes back on. Here's the pitch. 96. Now, I will say this, JD. JD says get off Go's channel if you can't write proper English. I don't mind if people don't use proper English, or if they use, abbreviations, misspelled words, etc. Even if it's a little difficult to understand what people are trying to say, I'm not gonna care too much about that. That's hit out into right field and put away for out number 2. Walker flies out. Yainer Diaz coming up with 2 away. I don't mind any of that, but what I will mind is when somebody uses terrible grammar, can't hardly be understood with the way they formulate their sentences, and they're going to combine that with trying to insult the Astros or insult us. If they're going to take the time to say stupid things and be rude, while saying them in ways that make no sense, then come on. I mean, if you're going to insult people, at least be intelligent about it. It's already stupid enough to insult people, but to insult people and do it in a way that clearly shows a lack of intelligence and understanding of the English language. I mean, come on, just get out of here. That's who has time for people like that. Isn't it funny how the closer it gets to the Astros possibly being out of the playoffs, the more of these people come into the chat. They're so spineless. That's grounded to Wilson, who fires it over to first base. Diaz grounds out, and that's nothing through 6 for the Astros, except for 1 run on a Cam Smith sacrifice fly. 3 hits only. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Jaden Murray might still be on the mound. We'll see. He's got 11 pitches, 7 of those in the zone. Darrell Hernandez is due up, followed by Carlos Cortez and Brett Harris. Take a look at the scoreboard. The first one that comes up is the Astros and the A's. And then the Texans, of course. Rub it in. Rub it in. Come on, show the other scores. There we go. The Orioles beat the Rays 6-0. Guardians over the Tigers, of course, 5-2. Let's see those live scores. Pirates beat the Reds, kind of surprising, 4-2. Marlins beat the Phillies 6-5. White Sox let us down against the Stanks. Stinky Red Sox. That was a high-scoring game, though. The Mets and the Curbs, 9-7. Close game. Lots of runs. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Ben. Try to be witty. Try to be smart. Say something. You know, you can be witty and say something and not be rude and remain in the chat. You know, I can appreciate that. I will applaud that. I can laugh and I can appreciate it. But to just be rude and stupid? Yeah, there it is. Bottom of the 8th. The Rockies over the Submariners. Murray is still on the mound for the Stros. The first pitch is a ball. He is facing Darrell Hernandez. That's in there. Lower outer corner, 1-1. Here's the pitch. This is hit out into center field. Myers gets underneath it for out number 1. By the way, I have had some email correspondence with the Locked On Sports Network. I'm sure all of you are aware that Locked On is not just for the Astros. They are a conglomerate. They are a corporate entity that does podcasts and postcasts for basically all sports, all main American sports, and all teams. That's hit hard out to right field and sails off into the crowd, into the night. Strike 1 to Carlos Cortez with 1 out, nobody on. But after Bryce Patrick of the Locked On Rangers podcast called the Astros cheating a-holes, I sent an email to the Locked On Network to complain. I even clipped out the video. And they basically informed me, well, we talked to him and we told him, you know, to be careful about crossing the line between, you know, fair criticism and banter and being offensive. But, you know, we don't consider his words to be anything more than typical banter, common banter that is commonly found in sports circles. They basically made excuses for him and said that it's okay, it's common. It's common for, and like in professional broadcasting, it's common to call the other team cheating a-holes. Seriously? Fly ball to left field. Zach Cole puts it away. Carlos Cortez goes down, and that's out number 2. Brett Harris comes to the plate. I will show you guys the email that I received from Locked On. This is what the Locked On network said to me. Whoops, it's too long. Can't post so much at one time. Let me see if this is too long. Is this too long too? Wow, that's also too long. I have to paste it a piece at a time, it looks like. There's the first few pieces. 2 balls and 1 strike to Brett Harris, and that is a swing and a miss for strike 2. As I'm trying to get this email and show it to you, the MLB Locked On MLB network says, "We understand you feel the comments about the fans crossed the line beyond typical sports banter. No, it's not the way I feel. That's the fact. Foul ball. The count remains 2-2 to Brett Harris. 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on. Here's the pitch from Murray. Woo, just barely missed outside, and it's going to be a full count." Locked On says, "While we believe the tone was clearly meant to be humorous and part of the passionate rivalry discussion that's common in sports media." Okay, he was not laughing. He was not smiling. He was angry, emotional, and he called the Astros cheating a-holes. That's strike 3 on the outside edge. You rung him up. Murray gets the strikeout on the full count pitch. Nice. How about that? An inning with nothing doing. We are finished with 6 innings of ball here at the Homeless Athletics Park. 4-1. The Astros are behind by 3. We go to the top of the 7th with Jake Myers due up, followed by Zach Cole and Cam Smith. So basically, I told the Locked On network that his language was inappropriate and unprofessional because it was. It was not how I felt. It's just the fact. I clipped the video and I sent it to them. And I showed it to them. And then, as you see right here, they say, "We understand you feel the comments crossed a line beyond typical sports banter." No, it's not the way I feel. It's just the fact. Just the fact. And let me continue with the email. Let me show you what else they said. I'll post it here. Post it in turn. They said, "We've spoken with Bryce about being mindful that what comes across as joking to some listeners might be received differently by others." No, it wasn't received differently. What he said was wrong, period. And that personal attacks on fans, even in jest, aren't okay. Wait a second. So if attacking the teams and the fans is not okay, then why did you just say that it was just the typical banter? I mean, they're sending mixed messages. We want our content to be engaging for all fans while maintaining the spirited team advocacy our audience expects. Such a generic email. Zach Cole at the plate. There's a pitch. 88 miles an hour on the outside edge. Apparently Myers grounded out or flew out on the very first pitch. I totally missed it. That's on me. I was too busy sharing the nonsense from the Locked On Network. 2 straight strikes to Zach Cole. He hasn't done anything tonight so far. He's 0 for 2. Here comes the next pitch from Ferguson. Low and outside, ball 1, 1-2. It's Texas hate. That's right, Eric. That's right. Texas hate. Texas-sized hate. Can we get some darn RBIs for a change? Ernesto, please. 94 miles an hour, swing and a foul tip miss right into the glove of the catcher, and that's going to be another strikeout for Cole. Looks like Cole might be one of those hitters. Strike out a lot, homer a lot. Take your pick. Apparently can't have a consistent home run hitter. Just got to have a guy that homers occasionally, drops big bombs over the fence occasionally, and strikes out a lot. "20 pitches now for Ferguson, and they have a little meeting on the mound. Sanchez is going to get an opportunity to bat. He's pinch hitting for Cam Smith. Let's see if he can do something. Well, Robert, if the only reason you came here is to take a crap on us, then you wouldn't last long. You would get removed from the channel pretty quickly for that, but just be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Here's the pitch. Right on the outside edge, strike 1 to Sanchez. 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the 7th, the Astros just sleepwalking at the plate right now. Here's the toss. 94. The bottom of the zone fouled away, and that's 0-2. Well, Ben, Bryce has been behaving, and you can go back as early as when his career first started, when he first got into journalism and podcasting, he was already saying hateful things against the Astros. I did some research on him just to see what the AI could come up with. That's another foul ball by Sanchez, and that's going to keep the count 0-2. But there are comments that he made as long as 6 years ago where he was saying insulting things about the Astros. I mean, he's just nonstop saying unacceptable things. Ball 1, low. 1-2. Sanchez. They're supposed to get a brand new stadium at some point. Probably going to take a couple of years. This is hit out into left center field. Soderstrom takes it for out number 3. Nothing doing for the Astros in the 7th. 3 up and 3 down. So Buddy Sanchez can't get anything done either. Might as well just go ahead and take out all of the Astros lineup and bring in everybody that's on the bench. That wouldn't be very many. We don't have too many on the bench right now. Maybe you could bring in the relievers. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Why don't we just bench all of our guys and replace them with our bullpen? Could we do that? I want to see that, actually. I actually want to see that. I want to see all of the infielders and the outfielders, the pitcher and the catcher. I want to see all of these positions filled by our bullpen. Make it happen, Espada. I want to see it. It's going to make it's going to make the game a lot more fun, Just trying to make it fun. Just trying to make it fun. Can you imagine them talking to Espada after the game? Joe, why in the world did you pull out all of your position players in the bottom of the 7th and bring in all of your bullpen guys to cover all the positions? Why did you do that? I'm just trying to make it fun. I'm just trying to make it fun. Mariners tied it up in the 8th. That's no good. That is no good. Come on, Rockies. Eric says, thanks for broadcasting the game. Fubo wants to break the bank. Fubo? You're here for the pain in you're not going to hear any pain in my voice, Robert. You're on the wrong channel for that. If you want to hear pain in the voice and crying and whining and being a sore loser, then go to the Locked On Rangers podcast and listen to Bryce Patrick. Seriously, if you want to listen to some fun whining and crying and the pain in the voice, because you're not going to hear any here. You're on the wrong channel for that, mister. You found the wrong guy. You're not going to hear any lamenting or crying from me. Stephen Okert on the mound now. The first pitch is in there for a strike. That next one is a little high and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nick Kurtz at the plate with a 1-1 count. 91 right in there. Fouled off 1-2. I need to change my pitcher. Good old Stephen Okert. I know he's a lefty, so don't bash me about his picture being righty. I keep forgetting to change it, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. I'll fix it later. Just like I said last time and the time before that, I'll fix it later. That's a problem for future me. Swing and a miss. Nick Kurtz goes down. Fried Okert is served up. That's right. Go eat it, boy. You're a young boy and you don't like your fried Okert, but you're going to eat it. Or you're going to go to bed without dinner. You either eat your Okert or you go to bed, boy. 1 down. Shea Langoliers comes to the plate. Bottom of the 7th, 1 out, nobody on. Here's the toss. A little inside, ball 1. Mariners are up 4-3 now. That's unfortunate. If you search YouTube, they start pouring concrete on the pilings. That's hit out into center field. Myers is underneath it, puts it away for no problem. 1 strikeout, 1 fly out. And now Tyler Soderstrom comes to the plate to face the Fried Okert cook, the Fried Okert chef. Yeah, we need the defibrillator. Bzzz. Wake them up. Not to bring them back to life, but just to wake them up. 82 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone. Strike 1 to Soderstrom. You know, maybe Espada could try doing to the Astros batters what I did to a cat when I was a little boy. When I was very, very little and I was living in Houston. Swing and a miss. Nice slider. 0-2 is the count. When I was a very, very wee lad, one day, suddenly my mom and dad were inside the house and they heard a lot of commotion outside, low and outside. Speaking of outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. They heard a cat going crazy. They heard a bunch of things falling down on the porch. And they ran outside to find that I had taken the jumper cables and attached them to the cat's tail. As a hit to right field on the 1-2. 2-out base runner. Soderstrom with a single, and Brent Rooker is due up to bat next. So they had to catch the cat and disconnect the jumper cable from its tail. Can't imagine how much that hurt. But I was just a little kid. I didn't know any better. And my mom and dad said, why in the world would you put the jumper cables on the cat's tail? And I said, well, Dad said that if he was using the jumper cables because the car had no energy and the cat was just lying there. So I thought it had no energy. So I put the jumper cables on it to try to give it some energy. And boy, did it work. That's a fly ball to the infield and a little more fried Okert served up. One single, 3 outs, no earned runs. Nothing doing for the A's in the 7th. And that's it for 7 innings. We've got 2 more to go. Or at least 1.5 more to go here in the minor league park. Astros will be back up in a moment if there's no batting change. Dubon, Altuve, and Correa are due up. But anyway, maybe Espada can get some jumper cables from the parking lot and then connect them to the Astros hitters or their bats and give them some energy. Maybe that will work. Let's see. It'll take a moment for the score to cycle around, I think, but we'll get to it. Ben says off topic, but I just had 6 F-35s fly overhead, and they are amazing. Amazing jets. Yeah, when I was living in Shreveport, it's right next to Bossier City, and Barksdale Air Force Base is right there. So we constantly had all sorts of planes flying overhead. It was really cool because you could go close to the base and watch them take off and land. Every once in a while, you would see a stealth fighter come in. Those things were creepy because they were so quiet. Yeah, the Rockies are losing 3-4 in the top of the 9th. Myers is eating. See, they do need some energy. Take away the food, give him the jumper cables. Look at that. Caratini comes in to pinch hit and he gets hit right off the bat. Justin Sterner is the new pitch. The new pitcher for the A's. The very first pitch to Caratini, he plunks him. Man, I remember a couple of months ago when Caratini just kept getting hit several days in a row. They just kept plunking him over and over and over again. But we have a runner on first. Got to get on base somehow. Big little man comes to the plate. The Yankees killer. The Bronx bomber himself, Jose Altuve. 0 for 3 with 3 flyouts. Or did he ground out his third at bat? But he has been putting the bat on the ball. He does it again, but this one might be out of play, and it is. The Swiffer is fouled off on the right side. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Justin Sterner on the mound. No outs. Caratini, the Batman, on first base. How many World Series do you guys have that you didn't spend a ton of money on to get? 0? 1 maybe? Look at the market, man. Look at the market. Look at the market size. Look at the money. Look at the corruption. It's obvious why that is. Come on now. If you're going to start talking like that, you're going to get kicked out of the channel because that's just nonsense. Don't be silly. Altuve lives in your head rent-free and you know it. For the rest of your life, you'll always remember Jose Altuve. You'll never be able to wipe him out of your mind. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Altuve. Here's the toss. He grounds that one to the left side. And they get him at first base. It is a double play. So that's going to be 2 down. Correa comes to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. So the hit by pitch goes down. At the very least, you deserve a 5-minute timeout. If you come back being saucy, then you can just go permanently. We'll see. See how it goes, what kind of a person you really are. Swing and a miss by Correa on that cutter. 0-1 is the count. Yeah, JD, I see that. Mariners won. They came back and won, unfortunately. Here's the toss. Outside into the dirt. Yeah, I got to have some base runners. 95 outside. We don't even have that right now. 2 balls and 1 strike to South Korea. Come on, bro. We need you to do something here. We only have a few more outs remaining until the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to start a rally, let's not wait until the very end. Let's do it now. 3 balls and 1 strike. Isak the ball Paredes on deck. Here comes the pitch. 94 on the outside, fouled off to the right side and into the crowd of picnickers. Yeah, we lost all the lobsters. Caught 9. Charlie, we had 9 in the traps. Lost them all. The Athletics have had 12, but they brought 4 in. Here's a pitch. Outside, that's a walk. Got another lobster in the trap right now, a Correa lobster. Let's see if Isak Paredes can bring him home. Give us a little something. Paredes did have a home run the other day. It didn't turn out to be useful overall because we still lost the game, but it was nice to see him get the homer. Ryan, the Astros are either number 1 or number 2 in left on base. Fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike to Paredes. Yeah, in the top 3 categories, stranding base runners, chasing pitches outside the zone, swing and miss, and aggressive swinging, Astros rank in the top 3 in all those categories. Took that one right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Paredes. One and 2. Here's the toss. That's hit high in the air. It should be a fly ball out for number 3. Butler comes in and takes it. And that's another lobster loss. That's 10 losses for the Astros. 10 opportunities with guys on base, and they left them on. So you could say out of 11 opportunities, the Astros only capitalized on 1 of them. It is 4-1, guys, going into the bottom of the 8th. Astros have 1 more opportunity at the plate to get 3 runs at least to tie this game up and have an opportunity to win it. But this is not a good way to start off when we need to get no less than 4 wins out of these next 6 games. No less. And that is not even a guaranteed playoff entry. It's just a minimal requirement to have the possible opportunity. The possible opportunity to get into the playoffs. They would need to win 4 out of 6. And they're starting off like this. They've got 3 outs to turn it around. We'll see. Charlie Esox, let's go. That's funny. Eric says, Mr. Go, catch me section 118 at the Astros game. I'll buy you a beer. It sounds great. If I happen to be in America and in Houston and I'm able to go to an Astros game, I will look you up. I have no idea if that will ever be or when it might be, but I appreciate the invitation. Charlie says they're stuck in their traps, poor things. That's right. Grounding into a double play, yeah, that's also a lobster. You're right, Mark. Enio de los Santos is on the mound now. The first pitch to Jacob Wilson is a ball. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Low and outside, ball 2. Ramon Arias is over at third base as they shuffle some players around in the outfield and infield. Sanchez out in left field. I think Cole will shuffle it over to right field. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. High and outside, 3-1 to Wilson. Yeah, if you have a runner on base and you don't at least move him around, if you don't at least move him to another base, then you get a lobster. You create a lobster. You don't have to score them, but you got to at least do something positive. You either have to get on base yourself or you have to move them around, and that's a walk. 5-pitch walk. Correa and the umpire over there having a... I'm glad you guys can laugh it up. Have a good time. Hey, you guys... having trouble making it to the postseason, right? Yeah, you know how it is. No, not really. Pretty ridiculous. See ya, Robert the loser. You're going to talk like a loser, you're going to be treated like a loser. Talk like a loser, get treated like a loser. Jose Altuve, he will be in your dreams tonight. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. The bottom of the zone. Lawrence Butler down in the count. 0-2. Runner on first with no outs. See ya, Robert. See ya, baby Robert. Go cry about Jose Altuve. He has dashed your dreams so many times, and he'll continue to do it for a little while longer. That's hit into left field. Sanchez brings it in pretty quick to stop Wilson from getting to third, but that's 2 runners on. De Los Santos has given up a walk and a single back-to-back here in the bottom of the 8th. So he's like, hey, you know what? If the hitters are not going to hit the ball, then I'm going to make it even more challenging by giving up some more runs. Darrell Hernandez comes to the plate. Diaz and De Los Santos have a little chit-chat on the mound. Robert's crying. Eric Robert was crying about Altuve, but he said he came here just to bask in our tears, but there are no tears here. We're not like Rangers fans. We're not distraught and listless. Those of us who've been Astros fans for a while, we've been through stuff like this before. It's not that big of a deal. We're not going to lose our crap like Yankees fans do. Here comes the first pitch. That's a bunt to the left side. Urias makes the throw to first base to get the out, but that moves both runners over to second and third. One down. And that brings up Carlos Cortez. Yeah, JD, no problem. I mean, it's a difficult or challenging situation because not only Astros making it difficult, but you've got all of these people who are with loser mentalities coming in here, right? They're so spineless to wait until now to come in. 95 fouled off. They might be a little preemptive, though. Just because the Astros are struggling right now doesn't mean that it's over. If the Astros find a way to come back and get back into the playoffs, I really hope that they do play some of these teams that hate them, the fans that hate them so much, and then they knock them out. Even if the Astros can't make it to the World Series, how nice would it be for them to knock out some of these other teams, you know? It'd be awesome. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cortez. And you're welcome for the stream anytime. Swing and a miss. 87 at the bottom of the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Cortez. Eric says, no tears, no fears. Yeah, I haven't noticed anybody breaking down and crying and getting upset like the Rangers fans have been doing. I'm not going to be doing that for sure, so I don't know what he was thinking. I guess he's disappointed coming here and not getting what he was expecting. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's sure to get angry. I put him in timeout for 5 minutes and he fell apart like a big baby. This hits shallow into center field. Myers gets the catch and he throws it in, but it's just way off center. Wilson was able to tag and score. It's 5-1. Myers did have an opportunity to throw him out at home, but if it's not going to be right to home plate with a gun, it's not like Myers has a gun for an arm, but it wasn't very deep. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered even if the throw had been there. It was too late. Sacrifice fly. Both runners advance. Josh Miller comes out to have a little chit-chat with the infield. Gordon is warming up in the bullpen. Brett Harris is due up. 2 outs, runner on third. You're welcome, Eric. Sorry for the result. I wish I could do more to fix it. There's actually literally nothing I can do to fix the Astros bats other than what I've been doing. I'm sure that even if all of my opinions are 100% correct, even if what I think is correct, which it's not, only a certain percentage of my opinions are ever going to be correct, right? 96 miles an hour, swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Brett Harris. But even if all of my thoughts about the Astros problems were correct, it's not like the managers are listening to me and the players are listening to me, so there's really nothing that I can do to help them. Just try to be positive and support them. It's baseball. You're going to lose. That's the thing about competition. When there's a competition, there's always going to be a loser. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes a 1-1. Fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Harris. Yeah, they could have left Javier in. You're right. They could have left him in for just a little bit longer. He wound up getting another earned run anyway. That ball was in the dirt, and the count is even at 2-2. Yeah, I love baseball. I much prefer actually playing baseball rather than watching baseball. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on the high fastball. That's a strikeout in your face for Enyel De Los Santos. He finally gets out of the inning, but he gives up a run. The Astros, once again, have been nickeled and dimed throughout the game, giving up one in the first, one in the fourth, two in the fifth, and now one in the eighth. And they find themselves down 5-1. They put up one run on a sacrifice fly with bases loaded in the second, and that's all they've been able to muster against the A's. Mark, thanks so much. Thanks for being here. See you tomorrow. Get some rest or have a good evening or whatever. Tomorrow's another day. Yeah, Jay, I definitely think that it's most likely not the Astros' year. Once again, I'm not going to say that it's definitely not their year because stranger things have happened. But I will agree that it's most likely not their year. But we will find out soon enough, that's for sure. That's right, Mark. Please remember to click the like button on the live stream if you have not done so already. Yeah, today's live stream is going to be suffering a little more than usual because of the Astros performance. When the Astros don't do well, the video suffers, the channel suffers, everything suffers. Right now, I only have 74 likes. Some of these really popular games, they can go up to 200 likes or more. We only have 98 people watching right now. We don't even have 100 people watching, much less 100 likes. Still need 26 more to get to 100. Michael Kelly is now the pitcher for the A's. They have another pitcher in the game. He is facing the amazing Christian Walker. Somebody that I would not be surprised to see offloaded during the offseason. Couple of singles for Walker tonight. One through the hole and a line drive off the glove of the pitcher. Half swing there, strike one on the 93-mile-per-hour cutter. By the way, the Rangers are officially eliminated, for those of you who do not know. Congratulations to the Texas Strangers. That's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Walker. So look at the bright side. The Astros at least have outlasted the Rangers. The Rangers are officially out. That's fouled off. 1-2 to Walker. Even with a loss today, the Astros cannot be officially knocked out. Not yet. Thanks, JD. I appreciate that. Have a good one now. Eric wants to know wild card. We'll see. That's a hit out into left field, and it floats out to the left fielder, Soderstrom. Walker flies out, or lines out, rather. 2 more, and this game will be in the books as another loss. That'll be 4 losses in a row for the Stros. Even after a day off, they were not able to regroup themselves. And despite having a good outing here at this ballpark last time, they have not been able to duplicate that so far today. 97 at the top of the zone, fouled off by Diaz, and that's strike 1. Is that a Mexican beer activate, Eric? Thumbs up for a Mexican beer. Un cerveza, por favor. That's a bouncer to Kurtz, who throws it to Kelly, who covers first base, and that's 2 down. All right, 4-run comeback with 2 outs in the 9th. Let's get her done. Jake the Rake comes to the plate. Four runs is actually not very much. I mean, the Mariners scored 7 in the second. Surely we can get 4. 92 right in there. Strike 1. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. There's not much to go over with this game. I'm going to do the preview for tomorrow's game, and there's no need to look at the scoreboard. We've been talking about it. That's fouled off down the third baseline. 0-2 is the count to Myers with 2 outs and nobody on. Not going to stick around very long. It is after 1:30 in the afternoon here, and I've got a few things to take care of. So we'll quickly look at a preview of tomorrow's game, and then I'll say thank you to all of you today. I don't have any donors today, so no super chats. That's strike 3. Myers goes down on the half swing. That's an appropriate ending to this game. Half effort. It looked like, anyway. This game looked like a half effort, and that was a half swing. The Astros lose 5-1 in the homeless Athletics ballpark. Let's take a quick look at the final score here. Actually, just really want to look at the preview for tomorrow's game. There's no reason to take a look at anything. The Astros had 1 run today, and that was a Cam Smith fly ball, sacrifice fly with bases loaded. That was the only run that the Astros got today. Other than that, there's nothing to really look at. Let's take a look at tomorrow's game, and then we'll be out of here. Yeah, Walker had 2 hits, and Diaz had a hit. Cam Smith had a sacrifice fly, and they only had, what, 1 or 2 walks? They had a hit by pitch. You're right, Mark. You know it's not going to be a good day when that's all you get. That is correct, sir. Hey, Charlie brought in the super chat. That's a consolation prize. Charlie L says, thank you again with the $9.99 super. Thank you, sir. That's definitely going to be called the consolation prize super chat. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you so much, Mr. Charlie. Much appreciated. I do have to make a little trip over to a nearby town and run a couple of errands. I need to go to a bank, and I got to get there before 3 o'clock, so I have to leave in just a few minutes. It's already 1:37. That's going to close around 3, so I got to get over there pretty quick. And then after that, I'll have something to eat. So the super chats really do help out. If not for the support of the channel, I wouldn't be able to do this. And it's hard to keep doing it, especially when the Astros are performing so poorly. And I get it. I mean, it's hard enough to watch it or listen to it, because as a fan, if I'm just listening to it and they're playing like this, it would be very easy for me. And sometimes I would. If they're getting beat so terribly and I'm just listening to the game or watching the game, at some point you just say, you know what, I can't take this. And you just walk away. Of course, we're fans, so we're going to go back and check the score here and there just to see if they're making a comeback. But it's easy to walk away and just say, you know, I can't handle this. I'm done. But when you start live streaming the games, I really feel like to have proper integrity, you can't do that. You can't just walk away. It doesn't matter whether the season's over or not. I committed to doing the games, so I'll continue to do them no matter how poorly the Astros perform. So I will be here. I will continue to stay here. Hunter Brown is going to be on the mound, as you see here, tomorrow versus JT Ginn. I think his name is a hard G. We'll see how it comes out tomorrow. I would like to see Hunter Brown have a really nice, solid game tomorrow, get his 13th win, the nice baker's dozen, continue to keep himself in the top 3 consideration for the Cy Young, so the Astros can get another draft pick, right? They can get another pick. That's the upside. But I will see you for that game tomorrow. That game starts about the same time, 11:05 my time here in Japan. I think you can see it right up here. There it is. Right here at the top. 11:05 a.m. my time. Whatever time that is for you. I think Central Time, it is 9 o'clock at night. It's kind of late. So for those of you who actually stay up, maybe you can fall asleep listening to the broadcast, listening to the podcast, and that's okay. If you can't be here, then I also understand. I won't fault you if you're not able to stomach the rest of the Astros games this season. Some people can't emotionally take it. I think I remember this chump from before. I remember the Oreo name. Yeah. But anyway, as I was saying, some teams have been eliminated already, and the pressure is off. The Astros are in that unfortunate situation of being out, but not officially, right? So mathematically, there's still a chance for them to be in it. But a lot of fans right now are just kind of like, you know what? I'm kind of done. I'm not really into it. I'd rather them just lose, and for just to end the suffering. And I get that. I can understand that. But I would much rather the Astros at least get to the wild card game. At least. You know, and if they get to the wild card game, then I want them to win. I want them to win that series. And then if they get to the next series, then I want them to win that one. Because once you get into the playoffs, everything is reset. Your ranking in the division doesn't matter anymore. The only thing that matters once you're in the playoffs is who you're facing. You have to win that series. You know, who's ahead of you in the standings and where you're ranked in the division. None of these things matter anymore. It doesn't matter how bad your record is. It doesn't matter how poorly you've played in the past. None of those things matter anymore. All of those things cease to be important. The only thing that matters in the playoffs is winning the team that you're facing, beating the team that you're facing, winning the series. That's all that matters. Win this series, win the next series, win the next series. That's all that matters. So right now, I feel like my personal thought is just win. Do your best. Go out there. If you win, great. Go out and do it again tomorrow. If you don't win, like today, you don't win, okay, you're still not out. Go out and win tomorrow. And if you're eliminated, you still go out and try to improve, and you still have time, you know. Actually, if you get eliminated, then there's some pressure off of you because you can spend more time focusing on what is it that we're doing that is not working. What are we doing wrong, you know? They can spend more time focusing on it. Yeah, Charlie, it's not been Charlie points out that there are no 100-win teams this year. That's right. And all of the teams that everybody thought were going to be so awesome, you know, at one point it was the Dodgers. Everybody's talking about how amazing the Dodgers were going to be, and then they started falling apart. And the Astros had a lot to do with that. After the Astros spanked them in Los Angeles, they just really started falling apart. It was crazy. And now the Brewers came on big time, but the fact that no teams have really just blown it out of the park this year, right? No team has just risen head and shoulders above the rest of the league. It's a tough year. It's been a tough year for all of the teams. And there have been a lot of injuries, not just on the Astros. I mean, the Astros have been severely affected, but they're not the only team with pitching injuries and player injuries. And it's just been a difficult year, I think. I feel for everybody. And just maybe, I don't know if I said this the other day in my live stream or not, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe the Astros injuries and the constant problems in that area throughout the year kind of seeped into their mentality so that they view themselves as an injured team. And the reason I say this is because it's related to my own situation in life. I myself battle with a health problem. It's very serious. Actually, it's a lot more serious. According to my doctors and my hospital nurses and counselors, everybody that knows my situation, they think that I don't take it serious enough. But to be honest, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. I don't have medical insurance. I can't afford the medicines or the treatments that they would like to give me. But even if I could, okay, here's the thing. Even if I could, the doctor told me that even with all of these medicines and treatments, I would probably have no more than 2 years left of life before I die. He told me that over a year and a half ago. So right now, according to him, if I had been taking all of these medicines and having these treatments and things that he wanted me to have, then I would be lucky to have 2 years. Well, I couldn't afford to keep doing those medicines and treatments. And actually, many of the treatments I didn't even do for various reasons. Some I didn't agree with, and some I didn't have the money for. But now I don't have insurance. I can't just go get treatment for free. And I'm literally taking no medication right now. Just supplements. So a variety of vitamins and some minerals, and drinking a lot more water and electrolytes and things like that. And I'm trying to limit my carbs and sugars. But, some days I don't feel too bad. But yesterday, all the way up until through the night last night, once again, it's just one of those times where I start to feel like, this might be it. This might be my last night. I felt like that again last night. And not to be grim or anything. And this is actually one of the things that I wanted to message one of my friends about. One of my friends, he's a good friend of mine in Australia. His name's Glenn. He might be listening to the podcast right now, but I'm going to message him after I get off the live stream. I got to hurry up because I got to get to the bank in about an hour. But I just want to let you all know that if for some reason I just suddenly stop showing up for my live streams, because I've got all of the rest of the games scheduled already. The remaining 2 games against the A's and the last 3 games against the Angels, and I'm planning to do some of the Texans games coming up, and my plan is to also do the Rockets games starting next month. I'm planning all these things, and I'm working on it right now, working on all of the layouts and the coding and all of that kind of stuff. But if you ever see my channel just suddenly stop producing live streams, if I suddenly stop showing up for my Astros live streams, and I stop posting videos, and you don't hear anything from me, now if I miss one game or I come late to one game, there's always a chance that it's a technical problem, okay? So don't get too freaked out. But if a whole day goes by and you don't hear from me, or 2 days goes by and it's like, wait a second, he's missing these games, you can assume that I'm at least in the hospital. Okay? So I'm just letting you know, because I think that as a supportive audience who has, and And you guys have some expectations of me and all of that. So you deserve to know that, just in case. But I plan to pass this on to my friend Glenn, because he's a fringe listener, even though he's not a baseball guy. He does listen and support the channel. So he can always come in and let you guys know what's going on if for some reason something happens, but we'll see. Ben says, thanks for calling this and all the best with your health. I've got to go. Excuse me. Thank you, Ben, for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. You have a great day. And I will see all of you again tomorrow, God willing. Wish you the best. Let's hope for a better outcome with the Astros tomorrow with Hunter Brown on the mound. That's all for now, except to say one more thing, and that is, Geaux Stros. See you tomorrows. Bye-bye.